Welcome back to another edition of Down and Back with CornDoug here. Another fun show this week. Get to our guest in a minute, but just want to get through the stuff at the beginning as always. Making sure you're hitting that like, share, and the subscribe button. You can share it if you want. Love to get some new people watching, but mostly hit that thumbs up. It's not going to take much. Give that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Remember, when we get to the 200 subscribers, we'll be giving away a set of Octane bags and then another set of Scorholio bags, courtesy of the one and only Ben Voodoo. But before that, now after you hit that there, go and check out octanecornhole.com when you're done the show here. Check out Matt. He's got all the stuff. The Masters is on this weekend. Check out the golf bags that Matt has. Unbelievable. The you can almost even feel the dimples on those on the bags that look like the golf balls. And then you got the other pin flags that Matt has there. So there's that. And then Matt also this week just released the 420 bags. Check them out. Troy the Stoner on the bags this year, so you can get them. I know I was just up at Octane there last night, and he's already got they're flying out the door already. So making sure you're getting your set available till the end of April, I believe. But make sure you're getting a set of those there. Other news. Well, of course, when you're on there, you're hitting myearfun.com using the discount code CornDoug there to get yourself 20% off. And then, as always, go over and check out Jamie at JC Cornhole and let him know. He said you may get a discount now if you mention my name. And I've even heard that there could be a discount code coming up too. Not sure about that, but you never know with Jamie. But anyway, so with that, some news, some cornhole news. We do have Canadian cornhole news. Finally, someone in Canada is playing. The if you really check out this week, on the Cornhole Newfoundland Facebook page. Sean had it up there. They had their finals of their winter season, so they were able to play a full winter season, get through. I know they were on lockdown. Took them like a couple weeks to get their cases down to almost zero. I think they have like 4 cases in the province. It's like absolutely amazing what they've done there. But anyway, able to get so they had the winners last this week. Depending on when you're watching, check out the Cornhole Newfoundland Facebook page. They had all of their finals. They're like a beginner. I think there was like 4 different finals they had on there. Watch them. Some great stuff that they're doing there, and I can't wait to be able to go out and check out their stuff and play some cornhole with them. Trying to think of some other news, some other ACL news coming down this week. Yeah, so now doing an age restriction for the pro division, which I think, in talking with some people here, I know I've always been in favor of it. Just nothing against some of the younger kids out there, but if we're gonna take cornhole seriously, and again, like I said, no disrespect to anybody, if we're gonna be trying to take cornhole seriously and be a pro division, I think we have to have some sort of age cutoff to be a pro. You see it in pro sports, basketball, hockey, football. There's that age limit that you have to be before you go and play. Tennis, you do see the odd younger player in there. So I'm thinking, I think I heard that they're going to allow 8 players under the age of 18 play. I think that's a great move for the ACL, just because of the whole gambling issue with going forward with that, and it's I think it just makes the league more. I don't want to say taken seriously is the right words, but just to even legitimate even sounds like the wrong word, but I think it's a step in the right direction um, for the league. So with that, I'm going to be talking extensively about that next week. I've got a ton of topics with next week's guest, but before getting into this week's guest, great guest, Greg Barr, Cornhole Central, Cornhole Finder, Tice Bag Toe, and if you haven't seen it yet, you've got to be watching and looking for the Moose Knuckle comic strip that he has out. It pokes some fun at cornhole. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of that there with talking when you get to see the interview with Greg. But it's he's a fun guy, and I'm looking forward to being able to do more stuff with him in the future. But yeah, trying to think of other stuff that we have on the go. I've already talked about the sponsors, talked about the 200 subscriber contest. Also, if you're all watching on YouTube, but if you can't always watch on YouTube, check out, we're on all the other major platforms with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon. You can check it if you can't always get on YouTube. Check out those other audio versions of the show, and so you can be able to watch or even listen. You're not going to be watching an audio podcast, listening to it as you're going to work or wherever you're going. But for now, yeah. So we're back in the other lockdown again here in Ontario. So there's no one playing any kind of cornhole in Ontario. There's a couple clubs that I have seen on Facebook say that they're announcing on Facebook that they're now doing a cornhole club, so they're not really playing that anyone can know about, but they're posting on Facebook. So if you know those clubs, you can go and watch them. But yeah, other than that, might as well get to it. Cornhole Central, cornholecentral.com. Check him out there. Here he is, Mr. Greg Barr. Here we go. As promised, we've got Mr. Greg Barr from Cornhole Central. We'll just call you a cornhole entrepreneur.
I got a lot of stuff going on.
You got I'm not sure if you stopped thinking cornhole. I thought I was bad, but you've got so much stuff on the go.
Yeah, I like to tell people I add value to the community in ways other than being a good cornhole player. I struggle to find the hole, can get it on the board most of the time, but when it comes to coming up with ideas for things to do, that's what I love. So
well, you and I are alike then, because I struggle to hit the board or do whatever, and it's just I like being the behind the scenes kind of guy.
Yeah, ditto.
So we'll start with Cornhole Central, because that was kind of one of your first kind of things on the go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was my yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, no. So yeah, so that's kind of like where where people kind of can go to find whatever they want in the whole cornhole world.
Yeah, so we recently spun off because the original idea of Cornhole Central was the directory of clubs and the map of the mapping and the calendars, and like basically find cornhole wherever you live, wherever you go. We recently spun that off. The catalog and the directory became so popular that we spun that off. So that's now Cornhole Finder, which ends up being like the fourth, depending on how you count things. So I actually spun that off, sold it to some friends of mine that are now running that. I help them with the web development stuff, but they kind of have taken on that role of adding clubs and getting that, making that be the ultimate search engine for cornhole. And then that's left me to be able to focus on Cornhole Central, making that a source of content and commerce is how to summarize it. Marketplace for bags, boards, apparel, patches. We're kind of building that up right now.
Well, exactly, and you've given me a big shot in the arm. I know once the down and back was kind of, I don't want to say featured, but just kind of put into the rotation there on Cornhole Central, I seen a little bit of a bump here.
Oh, good to hear it. Yeah, I like to feature. I really want to help people find all of the content that's out there, because there's a lot of people publishing videos and putting in the hard work of podcasts like this, which I know are no easy feat. So I like to kind of if somebody's looking for cornhole out there, I want them to be able to find you guys.
Well, exactly, and what we used to hear, because we were kind of, I think we used to hear to even try and find some other new places, but because there's been so much new stuff pop up here in Canada, it's been just amazing, and and with us up here with the ACL Canada about to start for next season, because we're in perpetual lockdown here, but if we can ever get things going, it's going to be a real help for people finding where to play.
Yeah, well, I'm in California, so I know the lockdown drill. We're starting to come out of it ourselves. We're finding new venues, but it's fits and starts and struggling. But one of the things that's really popping up, I don't know if it's a trend up there, but the purpose specific, kind of like a bowling alley for cornhole. I just found out 2 more of them just today, and they just seem to be popping up everywhere. All kinds of different business models between bars that have lanes and people that are just renting out space as a club and using that. It's just really seems to be coming into its own as something that standalone venues.
Well, I
And you
know.
should see that soon.
I think if we could ever win the lottery here, I think we have an eye on a retail space that was an old Target store, which I think
Oh,
would be.
perfect.
Well, I think you'd be big enough to put some stuff in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all you need, if you get 8 courts out there, you can throw a lot of players on there. I just got back from Cornhole Craze in New Jersey, and that's effectively what they did. It's not a bar or restaurant. It's just a bunch of cornhole players who pooled their resources. Somebody's on the lease, and they rent it out collectively. And then Game Changers in New Hampshire was, I think, the first one that really did it. And they've got a full-on bar and restaurant and courts, and they run bags every night of the week. Like if you're in New Hampshire, it's a bit of a godsend up there. Anybody can play whenever they want. So it's all kinds of different models.
Oh yeah, the guys with the Dogcast, I think they were kind of making everybody jealous when they were just talking about that the whole time once that first opened.
Mm-hmm. I was actually up there with those troublemakers back in October.
I was gonna say, yeah, you kind of had that little bit of a, I don't know if you could say run-in or whatever, but that's because you never know what they're gonna do.
Run-in's a good word for it. Yeah, and then I got to see Donnie this time. I was there. I kicked off my Tice Bag Toe roadshow a couple weeks ago. We launched the Kickstarter for that. And I started in New Hampshire at Game Changers and kind of worked my way down the eastern seaboard, being as masked and distanced as I could manage. Ended up in South Carolina and got to introduce the game to, I think, 9 different clubs and venues and everything. It was really cool. But Game Changers.
So we can get on to the Tice Bag Toe, because that's kind of, I think that's a great way for new people to start into the game.
Yeah, it's kind of exceeded all my expectations. It's funny when you talk to cornhole players, and this kind of dovetails into my not being a very good cornhole player earlier. I'm so bad I had to invent a game with 8 more holes. It's just that. But the thing is, like, people see it, and the first reaction that you get from families and cornholers and everybody is always like, "Oh, that's going to be great for the kids," and like, "Oh, the wives will want to play that where their husbands play," and this and that. I'm like, we had it in the parking lot, and all that's true. Like, it's great because there's no counting. It's easier to find success. So it's, cornhole's kind of hard. So when you go out to the block party, you and me with our middling 6 or 7 points of frame are going to be getting all kinds of grief for being pros. Nobody wants to play with us, right? Which strokes the ego a little bit. But meanwhile, your friends aren't having fun. So I wanted to kind of open it up to them, and it works. I mean, I've busted this thing out at parties, and like the energy level among non-cornholers just goes through the roof. It's really really fun to see.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be a perfect thing for me to break out for actually the summer when we do our summer hockey tournaments, because I've brought out boards before, and the kids start playing it, the adults take over, and then the kids have nothing to play, and I got to go with the truck and get my second set of boards I always bring with me. But that's I think that's just something where I don't want to say that everyone can play together, but everyone can play together. The kids and the adults can play at the same. And like you say, with our skill level, our bags that are usually going to just land on the board and not have a chance of going in the hole, actually have a chance of hitting something.
Yeah, well, it's funny. That brings to mind 2 stories. One is I've seen a couple different times where non-cornhole players, and in one case it was a 10-year-old girl who wasn't really a player, they walked up to the board with her dad, who was sporting the jersey, playing in the intermediate tournament, and knew what he was doing, and they played. And it was competitive because he's trying to pick his holes. He makes some, he doesn't. She's basically just winging it at the board, and she's going to make some in. There's going to be some luck of the draw, so you get it. So he had like 2 in upper left and bottom right, and she went and boop, plugged the middle and blocked him. And all of a sudden she has the advantage. So you can actually take non-cornhole players and good players. They can go at each other and have a good time. It's way more competitive. And they get that, the other thing is like, a bad player versus a good player. The bad player is going to end up getting skunked, because even if they get lucky and they get 3 in the hole one time, they're going to give up points. Like, so it's really a bummer for them. So the other thing that brings to mind is we busted out the game in the parking lot after the ACL Open in Fredericksburg, and we had pros and advanced players going at each other, and it very quickly turns from that'd be good for the kids into run it back, you're going down, cash money. Like, it gets really intense really quick, because it's challenging. If you got good players, they can block each other. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, that also brings to mind is that it's you can go and have those other extra games, because you play your regular cornhole games, but then you have that, you got to make up another extra thing to kind of keep you interested when you're not playing a regular game, and that's what this is.
Yeah, well, I tell a lot of cornhole players, I'm like, picture this everywhere you see an airmail box, because there's no intention of this replacing cornhole. To me, that's like horse replacing basketball. It's totally different. It uses some of the same skills, but it's not the same game. It's not going to be, super competitive like ESPN. It's a social game. It's fun. But as far as like airmails, you either make it or you don't. Womp womp. With this, you've actually got people who can achieve success and line it up and have the fun of actually playing a game with a purpose that's still more relaxing than net scoring and keeping track of things and sliders and blockers and all the stuff that makes cornhole such a great game. It's just it's fun.
Well, and I'd seen it because I was thinking that you could start playing regular, but then have like where you can take away someone else's. Say if someone's got an X, you can take away and put that take away that, make it an O spot, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I've tried to simplify it to the nth degree for Joe anybody. Like you take turns, you take it 3 in a row and you win, like done. But the variations you can put in place. When I've had those pros that one night, all of a sudden they wanted to play rebuttals. So he took the top right. I don't want him to take top right. If I make that, I should be able to cancel him out. So, and it's like any other, it's like I equate it to a beer pong a lot in that way. I've never played beer pong with the same rules twice. Everybody's got different things with rebuttals and rollbacks and misses and elbows, and everything's different. It's just like that. It's a backyard game. You can go as far as you want, and you can monkey with the rules, till the cows come home, figure things out for yourself. So it's a lot of fun in that way too.
Well, if anything, cornhole players will take something simple and make it complicated very quick. With the bag combinations and all the other shots and everything, we can make a simple game hard very, very
Absolutely.
quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and actually we kept it. It was important to me to make sure they're 6-inch holes, just like a regular cornhole board. So we ship it with some basic bags that are going to meet the needs of most folks. But cornholers, that one night out in the parking lot, everybody was busting out their Vipers and their Reynolds and BGs and kill shots and going at it with those. But not that there's that much of an advantage because it's basically airmails that you're going for. But it feels comfortable in your hand and people like playing their bags. So it's lets them keep it complicated in that way too.
And speaking of keeping complicated, we can then move on to your other newest project, which some people may have seen. Which I think it's the fun because we had a chance to talk kind of before it came out, and you're like, hey, we got some stuff that there's some could be some kind of Canadian content here, and that is Moose Knuckle Cornhole.
Moose Knuckle Cornhole, exactly. That was I have a friend named Moose, and I didn't learn his name for 6 months. He's one of those guys who basically lives his nickname, and he's a bear-shaped man with the big beard, and he would be perfectly at home as a Canadian lumberjack. And he goes by Moose, and we were just joshing around one time, and we started talking about moose knuckle, and it's the term for male camel toe, basically. Yeah. And we, somebody, I forget which one, about Moose Knuckle Cornhole, and we just started cracking up, and we shared it with people, and they liked it. And then we kind of envisioned this whole family of characters. So we basically hired a cartoonist, and we started putting together the characters, and we've actually took it to the point of developing a comic strip now, where we've done little 3-panel comics where we introduce the characters, Moose Knuckle, his girlfriend Camel Toe, and their friend Spread Eagle. And we've got a whole litany of other characters to come. And we're going to try to poke a little fun at the things that happen at cornhole tournaments, like stepping past the line is the big controversial rule. So we made fun of that with the Spread Eagle introduction, and blind. Everybody's always complaining about their blind draw partners, so we'll make fun of that and just kind of have a little fun with the things. I think cornhole's overdue for a comic strip, so we're gonna.
Well, and that's the thing is that we need to put some more fun in the game. There's been some people take the fun out of it. We need to put that fun back in it because up here, as everyone kind of knows, well, maybe not everyone knows, but they may know now that when we get 4 in the hole up here, that's stuff in the beaver. So we then up here with KW, we have Dolores the beaver that we have with I think it's a dog squeaky toy that has like the squeak in it. So when you do stuff Dolores, you've got to go and squeaker. So maybe Dolores can the northern cousin can maybe drop in on them.
I think that is naturally the animal that everybody's kind of been asking us how we're going to handle that one, because he can get a little racy, but I think stuffing Dolores will absolutely make an appearance.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's the, like I said, that's that fun thing. You got to bring that other element into it, right? And it's if you don't make it fun, it gets it can get boring pretty quick.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We've had people be like, "Oh, geez, are you sure you want to do that?" Because it's it's edgy for some, but we like to say it's PG-13. It's age, it's appropriate for adults and teens. And I mean, for Pete's sake, we play a game called Cornhole. I mean, 80% of the population snickers every single time we say it. It just flows off our flows out of our mouth like nothing. We don't even hear it anymore. But most people, that's funny in itself. So you pair that with camel toe. You got comedy gold right there.
Exactly, because I first played cornhole down in the South. I came back and I was always talking to some other friends about it, and they were like, whatever. And then finally, Matt with Octane had like a tournament up here, and I was like, oh, finally a tournament. So I asked who's now my partner, Corey. I was like, I need you to be my partner in a cornhole tournament. And he's like, pardon? What? But it's just that thing that everyone thinks. And I've had some other friends like, well, why don't you guys change the name? It's like, not a chance.
No way. Yep. And that's why, I think we wrote a description of Moose Knuckle, and we're like, it's a PG-13 comic for cornhole players who just enjoy the look that they get on people's faces. We just want to lean into that and just kind of make fun of that too. So, and we're having a lot of fun with it so far.
I think the other thing is people need to do is to go onto the Cornhole Central website and get Moose Knuckle apparel.
We're going to bring to bear apparel. I got hats that and I've given some to friends, and I see them at tournaments, and people kind of come up and give them a snicker so yeah, we're rolling out. We've got score towers and boards, and however far if you want to rep Team Camel Toe, we want to make that possible. So.
Well, and I think I still need to get on that website and get some stuff, because I haven't had the chance to yet, but to bring Moose Knuckle up here. But it's just it's that, like I keep saying, it's that fun thing in the sport to just give you that laugh while you're playing.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I think we're going to entertain some people with our upcoming comics. So yeah.
So then, is there anything that we don't know yet about Cornhole Central that could be coming up in the future?
Yeah, there's one thing
any breaking news that you can break on here?
There's breaking news that's not really breakable yet, but I kind of want to start teasing it, is the notion of discussion forums, breaking into providing a means on the web in general, basically a web-based discussion forum that we're working on. And we've got the infrastructure put in place, and I'm starting to work with the people that it'll take to build something like that, because while Facebook is a very vibrant community for cornhole, there's a lot of problems with it. There's groups where you've got repetitive questions and answers, and you got to scroll through 20, I've got $100, what bag, who's got bags, like things like that don't really add a lot of value to everybody. And then you've got whole groups where you can go and check and see if somebody's good to go, or if they're going to rip you off, because scams are apparently such a big problem. So I think between those kinds of things and the fact that not everybody's on Facebook, you look at the population under 30 and over 50, and the bell curve goes way down. There's a lot of people who just aren't on Facebook. So we've been looking at web forums for communities like saltwater aquariums and wristwatch collectors and people like that. And there's tens of thousands of people talking about these things and having vibrant, rich, conversations and commerce. They're buying, they're swapping, they're trading, and I think cornhole is due for that. So we're gonna make a run at that, kind of float some stuff and see if people find it interesting. But that's the next big thing coming down.
I think that would be great, because there's nothing that I hate more is seeing a post on Facebook and then not being able to see someone else I want to show it to, like 5-6 hours later, and then you're scrolling for like another 5 or 6 hours to try and find it. Sometimes it's not there. You got to go back to the group, and even sometimes in the group, it's not in that chronological order, in the time order, and then you're looking for it. So I think that the forum is kind of, I don't know if it has an old school feel back to when the all this internet stuff started, but it's still, I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, well, frankly, it had that feel to me, because I'm active in one or two of those communities, but it's not like a big thing for me. But when I look at how many people are and how rich and sophisticated the functionality has gotten, Facebook is buzzing with activity, but it's really chaotic. So I think we can do a lot to help bring some organization there. And to your point about being able to find things, searching and organization and all that stuff, I like to say Cornhole Central is the Amazon of cornhole. Cornhole Finder is the Google or Google Maps, if you will, And cornhole forums, if we can kind of build that thing out, will be like the Reddit of cornhole, where just a rich discussion and commerce too. If you can get people trading bags and swapping things in a way that's more secure, safer, all that, I think it's got a lot of potential. So
exactly.
right here first.
Well, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of that out there, and it just gets so confusing. And I think just that whole package would just make it so much easier to try and find stuff and just deal with other stuff, because even like I was saying, even on comments on Facebook, if you want to see a comment within a post, you're dying almost sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the other cool thing about it is you can spin up with very little effort a new forum and a subforum and a subforum. So I've got an area called like regional stuff, and there's New England, there's the South, there's Canada. We could just as easily create a new one for Toronto or for Ontario or for whatever region or sub-region you want. So all of a sudden you can have a rich, conversation in that area. And you start big, and then as a given region starts getting really big, you break it down. You say, okay, maybe New Hampshire needs its own forum. Hey, who in New Hampshire wants to run a forum? And it's all built out as part of the same system. When you're searching, because some stuff doesn't matter regionally like that, so the ability to search topics and questions and answers across a site that includes, filtered views like that and general purpose, I think it's going to be interesting to see if people are willing to kind of get out of the Facebook box. But I think once they do, give it a shot, it's going to be a lot of value. So I'm excited about that one.
Even just thinking for myself here now, that you could then almost get away from those people that I don't want to see any stuff talk about this league or this league or this league. You can just go to your own little separate world and find what you want.
Yeah, well, and that's why I think it's important to note that this thing is going to be a team effort. This is not going to be a Greg Barr running and moderating and doing all that. It's impossible. Communities can be a real beast. But I'm talking to different friends and colleagues and club runners and manufacturers, people that are making bags, all these people that have different interests, and each of them have reasons for which they would like to help build a community. So I think putting together that team, maybe forming it into some sort of an LLC or a nonprofit, and getting people the reasons to do that is going to be key, because it's got to be a community-led effort. So.
Oh yeah, and I love that, because I have people come up to me when I've done stuff with my son's hockey and then say, "Oh no, we've had a great time. You guys did such a great job." It's like, I was just the figurehead. I went and I got people that actually knew what they were doing to do it, while I just kind of stood back and watched them do it, because that's the key to success.
Absolutely, yeah. I recently heard something.
If I could just find that way for someone to throw bags for me, I'd be fine.
Oh. Well, we'll get you a Tice Bag Toe set pretty soon, so you can experience the joy of 9 holes, because it's more fun.
Yeah. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that the only thing you can tease us with Cornhole Central, or is there any other little?
Is that not enough? I think I've ticked off all my fingers. Yeah. No, I think that's pretty much it. The big deal. I mean, we were talking the Kickstarter for Tice Bag Toe is the big effort right now. It's been successful enough. I've had enough interest. We got a share today from Frank Maudlin. He's been in touch and finds the game interesting, and we've had a couple other pros try it. So we're getting good uptake in the community and out. So we've actually placed our first order. We're going to get these things into people's backyards by the summer. So we're trying to finish off our Kickstarter campaign with a bang over the next couple weeks. And if you go to ticebagtoe.com/Kickstarter, that's where you can go back it's technically backing the company, but it's basically a pre-order at this point, because the boards are on the way. So we're looking forward to starting to play them.
Okay, and then people will be able to find. I'll put a link down below, and people can go and check that out, because I think it's a great thing to do. It's just that extra little side, like you said, the side game, just that fun, because you see so many people playing cornhole at other tournaments. Why not play Tice Bag Toe at cornhole tournaments, just for that whole change?
Yeah, well, like I said, I like to equate it to horse. Basketball players love playing horse, right? But it's not the same thing. But it's still a lot of fun. It's a little side game. So yeah, I think people are going to get a lot of cornhole players in particular. I've seen them already. It's going to happen. They're surprised by how much fun they have when they start playing. They think it's going to be for the backyard crew, and then they start playing, and it's fun to see them get into it. So you're going to surprise a lot of people.
As you know, our game's addicting anyway. So that's the Tice Bag Toe has to be addicting as well.
Yes, technically it's 9 times as addicting. I believe that's how the math works out.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you for coming on, and people can get a link down below to Cornhole Central, Moose Knuckle, Tice Bag Toe, and Cornhole Finder, and see all the great stuff that you've been doing. I know that we've been a while trying to get back and forth to find a time for this year, and
Yeah.
you know what? I had fun talking to you, and I know that hopefully you can make a trip up north here to see us once stuff opens up.
Yeah, well, I'd love to. I actually work for a company that's based in Ottawa, so I can kind of swing through there on a business trip one of these days once they open up. So I'll see you one of these days, and I'll bring some Moose Knuckle swag, and we'll drink some beers.
Well, exactly, yeah. So again, I want to thank you for doing this, and we'll talk with you soon.
Cool. All right. Talk to you later. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And there it is, Mr. Greg Barr. I want to thank Greg for coming on. Again, that show was a while in the making to get him on. A lot of, can we do it now? Can we do it now? It was just the schedules weren't syncing up. Finally able to get him on the show. Great to finally be able to, like I said, to talk to him, and look forward to working with him in the future and possibly seeing our very own Dolores from up here possibly making a cameo in the Moose Knuckle Cornhole comic strip. Who knows? We'll see. After the interview, I was able to think of some more stuff, and then even send him a couple ideas, which I think may be okay, but we'll see. I don't want to go and tell him what he's got to do with his comic strip, but yeah, definitely check out cornholecentral.com. As I said, it is down below, and then you can go to the Cornhole Finder, your Moose Knuckle, and then Tice Bag Toe. I think that is just it's going to be so great because it can family in your backyard give you that extra little bit of, you can say, practice of hitting your spots with the I guess the tic-tac-toe board, Tice Bag Toe. But yeah, it just seems like a lot of fun. So check out that, and you can even get those pre-orders in. Be one of the first ones to get Tice Bag Toe, and because who knows? I think octane bags may be a great way to play that. So yeah. So that being said, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 200 subscribers. We'll give away a couple sets of bags, and I'll have some fun. So until next week. Next week is I've got the guests lined up. If it comes through, it's going to be a fantastic show. So look for some teasers next week. I'll put some out there, hopefully middle week, and about the show. So I didn't say it off the open. The Open this weekend. Check out ACL Open. I believe they're in Louisville this weekend. In the comments, if you're watching here before all this stuff goes, let me know who you think is going to win. At least the singles. What new player is going to win in the singles? Because we've had all those new players except for that one advanced long-time rookie. But this weekend I know there's no Steve Bernasette there this weekend. He might be making an appearance watching it, but he's not going to be there to play. But yeah, it seems to be like the new players winning that. So we'll see. We'll talk about that next week. Talk about there's a range of topics that we'll be covering. So again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and other than that, watch out for those players on gas because they might just kick your ass.